Hi, seventh graders. In this lesson video, we're going to be looking at the formula sheet for the MCA, and our focus is going to be on how to find the surface area of a cylinder. Okay, just let's look at the formula first so we can kind of see how the formula was created so we're able to make some sense of it. So you're going to notice that it says surface area is equal to pH plus 2B. I want to show you where that comes from. First of all, I think it's easier to look at the 2B. And if you notice here, it says B equals the area of the base. If you look at the bases of a cylinder, they're both circles. So what I've done here is I've kind of took the cylinder and I created a net, and you can see that we've got two circular bases on the top and bottom. So when we find the area of the base, we have to multiply it by 2 to double it. So that's where the 2b comes from, is 2 times the area of the base because there are two of them. Now for the second part, this is a little bit trickier. The second part is the pH. Well, think about the net of a cylinder. You have the two circular bases, but then you also have this tube that wraps around to become kind of the middle of the cylinder. And if you were to unroll that tube, if you were to like cut it right along here and then unroll it, it would create a rectangle. Well, to find the area of a rectangle, I would take the long length and I'd multiply it by the width. Well, the height is the width of that rectangle. And when you pull it apart, the circumference of the circular base becomes the length of the rectangle. So when it says perimeter here, it's actually talking about the circumference of the circle. So think about circumference means the distance around a circle. That's what perimeter is. It's the distance around a shape. So when we're taking perimeter, that's really the circumference. We're then going to multiply it by the height, and that's what's going to give us the area of this tube that's in the middle of a cylinder. Okay, then you're going to see lastly that there's a plus sign, and that's in between here. Because when we're finding total surface area, we want to add all of the parts together. We want to add the area of the bases and add that to the area of the middle tube. So this is just kind of breaking apart the formula and what it means. Okay, so now let's give it a try in an example, and it might make it easier to understand. Okay, so here I have a cylinder. And if we look at the parts of the cylinder, we can see that we're given the radius on the top of the circular base, and we're also given the height of the cylinder. Okay, so to find surface area, I'm going to start off by writing down my formula. Let me just switch colors here so you can watch what I'm doing. So I'm going to start off with surface area. Oop, I thought I switched colors. Apparently it didn't take. There we go. Now we got it. So surface area. Oh, goodness. Okay. And I'm just copying it straight from here. pH plus 2 big B. Okay. Now let's first find, I think it's easier just to find the area of the two bases. We can start off with that. So I'm just going to break this up. We've got pH. We're going to put that here, plus, and then 2B. Okay, so let's start off with 2 times B. I want 2 times, and remember the B stands for area of the base, and we have to use the area formula for that. So here's the circular base. We know the radius is 7. So to find the area of a circle, I'm going to take pi, which is 3.14, and I'm going to multiply that by the radius squared. The radius is 7, so 7 squared. So this part right here is my area of the circle, and here I want to multiply it by 2 because there's 2 circles. That's going to give me the area of both of the bases. Okay, now let's go ahead to the pH. The P represents perimeter. Perimeter is distance around. So we're going to think distance around the circle, and we have a fancy word for that. That's circumference. So we want circumference all the way around this circular base. Okay, remember circumference here is 3.14 times the diameter. Now, if 7 inches is the radius, all the way across would be 14 inches. That would be our diameter. Okay, then I have to multiply that by the height. And the height, up and down here is 15. So I multiply that by 15. Okay, so now here I have my pH, which is perimeter times height, or circumference times height, and then here I have the area of the two bases. Now what we want to do is think order of operations. The addition happens last after multiplication. So I'm going to use my calculator. I'm going to multiply 3.14 times 14 times 15. So when I type that in my calculator, and you could do that along with me if you want to, but I get 659.4. Okay, then over here, I'm going to do the multiplication first. I'm going to go 2 times 3.14 times 7 squared. And that's going to give me 307.72. Now my last step would then be to add them together. So I want to add both of these together. And this is going to give us the total surface area. Surface area equals 967.12, and this is area, so I'd have inches squared. That's the total surface area of the cylinder. So lots going on in there, but you're just really taking the numbers and plugging them into the formula, and then of course using order of operations. So thank you for joining me for how to find the surface area of a cylinder.